Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Alexa. So, Alexa, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Hey y'all, I'm Alexa Kilroy. I'm currently the Director of Marketing at Stay.AI, which I can talk about some more in a sec. And I currently live in Boston, Massachusetts.
Awesome. Yeah. So, okay, if you can talk more about what you do specifically and how you started your marketing career.
Yeah, totally. So, like I said, right now I'm Director of Marketing at Stay.AI. We are a Shopify app, Shopify tech solution for subscription businesses that really help you turn your subscription program for your e-commerce business from like a set it and forget it recurring revenue thing in the background to a super highly optimized recurring revenue channel that you can really play with and tinker with and scale just like you would any other performance marketing channel. So pretty neat solution backed by a lot of really dope proprietary AI tech as well. And a little bit about my career. I spent the past year I was at Triple Whale, which is another Shopify app data and analytics solution. But prior to that, I worked in-house on the brand side for e-commerce brands. So I was deep in the weeds doing things ranging from email marketing to performance and growth marketing and advertising to shooting product photography and videography. Actually started my career as a high school English teacher, kind of stumbled into e-com. And so I had one of those like claw your way up journeys where I had to kind of learn every part of the business, pretty much everything besides fulfillment. It's the only thing I haven't touched, but almost all the things on the business operations side, I've worked in-house at e-commerce businesses. And then I came to the tech side a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Awesome. So, can you talk more about e-commerce marketing? What separates a brand, that's good at marketing and is successful from one that's not?
Like on the e-commerce tech side or the actual brand side?
The actual brand side.
Yeah. Well, frankly, the e-commerce market is kind of a wild world. So there are consumers that like live and die by buying all things on Amazon. And for those consumers to really reach them and be successful as an e-commerce business and sell to them outside of Amazon, sell directly through your website, you have to market and incentivize appropriately. That's part of the reason why I became so interested in the subscription space because so many brands that offer subscribe and save and unique subscriber perks, let's say, for lack of a better word, those brands have a lot of success as e-commerce brands. But I think when it comes to marketing an e-commerce brand in general, it's really a conglomeration of things. Obviously, you need to have thriving digital advertising online. So you need to be wherever your customers are and kind of follow them around on the internet. But I also think that just having a good product isn't really enough anymore when consumers are so inundated with ads and different products, particularly in really saturated markets. And so I've definitely seen in the past couple of years the rise of what I'm calling more experiential marketing, where it's really end-to-end customer journey, first touch point to last touch point, making your customers feel as though they're having some sort of unique or personalized experience with your brand is what really helps develop the brand loyalty that turns a one-time purchaser into like a lifelong buyer of your lotion or your dog food, whatever it is.
But like, how do brands know, or like, what do you think makes the most sense in terms of whether to, focus on Amazon versus their own website? I think Amazon is obviously a big channel for lots of brands, but they do take, lots of money in fees, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really like how you want to stack up and set up your business, right? So if you opt to go the Amazon route, you can work with Amazon-based fulfillment, which obviously cuts costs in one place, but you're paying additional fees, that sort of thing. And then, of course, you have the dedicated Amazon user base. But as we all know, Amazon, there are like 4,000 different types of dog treats, right? So when you're searching for a dog treat as a consumer on Amazon, there's like the equivalent of like an SEO play that you can kind of do, and you can run ads on Amazon. But in my opinion, it's always been easier to reach customers using your own website and handling fulfillment through a third party or whatever yourself, because then you can kind of reach them anywhere on the internet. And then you aren't limited by Amazon rules and restrictions on how you can advertise things, how you even set up, for example, like a product page. You can't really optimize those sorts of things on Amazon, right? You're building on top of their tech and offering through their tech. So I think it really just depends on like how deep you want to go into building your unique brand experience and customizing all that sorts of things versus do you want to sell through another third party? It's kind of like, it's just like digital retail, in my opinion. It's like, are you selling on the Walgreens shelf or are you kind of selling through your unique experience? But knowing that when you're selling through your unique experience, you have all these different opportunities to upsell, cross-sell, play with pricing, do all these different things. Whereas when you're selling on the Walgreens shelf, you're sitting next to a bunch of other products that you don't have the ability to like know exactly all that's there, know exactly how you stack up against them, get people to add things to cart in different ways. It's a really different purchasing experience. And so I think part of it is knowing who your consumer is and then figuring out how your costs break down and what makes the most sense for your business at the stage of business that you're at. I tend to find that many e-commerce businesses launch independent of Amazon and then offer on Amazon later once they kind of have like the capital and the cash that it makes sense to offer through Amazon later.
Awesome. So can you talk more about Stay.AI? I mean, obviously, so I think it's like, a very good platform, but like, what is the use case in terms of AI, right? It's like, what exactly, are people like subbing in to, I mean, what does that look like and where does AI come into play?
Yeah. So for those that aren't super familiar with subscription tech, just to kind of give you the lay of the land of the market, a lot of the legacy subscription tech solutions have been around for like 10, 15 years. And of course, the internet has changed, Shopify has evolved, et cetera. So they do have to adapt and change with the times, but there just hasn't been a lot of merchant side tech innovation. It's kind of like I said, it's been like a set it and forget it. I want to be able to offer recurring subscriptions on my website. I use this like kind of basic plugin. It allows people to hit subscribe and save. And then maybe they have some other features like they can cancel on their own or things like that. But it's just not optimized, truly. It's just kind of like this thing that sits and you're thankful to have that recurring revenue in the days when your digital marketing starts to get really expensive because it's Black Friday or whatever it might be, right? So our co-founders, Gina and Pearson, they were also the co-founders of a big e-commerce agency. They are still based in New York called Lunar Solar Group. And they were working with hundreds and hundreds of subscription-based brands that were using legacy products. And they just did some math and realized that they really weren't maximizing on their recurring revenue from their subscribers. And so they set out to build something better. And so essentially what Stay.AI offers is it has all of your core subscription suite things that you expect, like buy boxes on your website, subscribe and save buttons, those sorts of things. But an additional feature set that allows you to go kind of above and beyond and not only offer better customer experiences, but also offer experiences that help you maximize your revenue. So we offer a completely no-code customer portal that you can inject your own code into if you want, but if not, it's like drag and drop kind of block builder style that allows people to add on one-time purchases through a product carousel that runs on the top of their page, allows them to quickly gift or cancel or pause subscriptions. We offer flexible bundling so that people can build the bundle of their dreams as opposed to whatever you kind of stock offer on your website. And also allow you to set flexible subscription cadences. So, for example, we work with Vita Coco, the coconut water brand, and they launched what they call their hangover subscription with us, where it literally strategically sends you coconut water to help you with hydration around drinking holidays, like New Year's Eve, St. Patrick's Day, whatever, so that people know that their hangover solution will be at their front door when they wake up hungover, as opposed to, having to just get it every month. Where the AI comes in, it's a variety of different places. So we offer a piece of our product, a feature is called Experience Engine that allows you to run A/B tests to test different types of promotions like upsells, cross-sells, free gift with purchase, all sorts of things. And you can either set it up yourself with really detailed logic, or you can let AI run and test some logic for you and then run even further once it finds a winner. We also have AI-powered churn forecasting to help you identify customer cohorts that are at high risk of churn, and then it'll encourage you to run special promotions for them. We have AI that powers cancellation flows through Retention Engine, so that when a customer goes to cancel their subscription, you can kind of set up different treatments to say like, offer them 25% off and see if they take that, or offer them a free gift or this, that, or the other thing. And you can set it so that you're training the model over time so that based on the cancellation reason, you're serving the best possible treatment or promotion to them to get them to stay on their subscription and take an offer. There are lots of different bits and pieces, but essentially the goal is through all of our different AI-powered features is to help you reduce your customer churn, find opportunities to maximize revenue, and ultimately improve a better customer experience, improve your customer experience kind of end to end at the end of the day.
That makes sense. So can you talk more about reducing the customer churn? Like obviously you can offer discounts, but do they offer freebies or different types of promotions? I think the problem with often D2C brands is you're not dealing with super high margins, right? You might be selling like one pack of water bottles or whatever, right? So what does that look like in terms of really maximizing that you're still profitable and, with using the software?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there are like a billion different things that you could do to tackle churn. That could be a 5-hour podcast on its own. But perhaps it would be helpful for me to explain some of the things that we see as being very successful and kind of reference some brands as case studies. So, for example, we recently worked with a brand called Funkit. They're a wellness brand. And our churn prediction reporting or churn forecasting helped the brand to identify that between subscription order 3 and 4, they saw a high cancellation rate, a high drop-off rate. And so what that founder was able to do was able to run an AI optimized A/B test so that a portion of subscribers between those two orders was offered a free gift with their next purchase, and then another portion was not offered. And so they were able to see the difference in the take rate between those who stayed on and those who canceled despite getting offered a free gift. It doesn't always have to be a free gift though. So for example, we've worked with Avi in the past, which is another supplement wellness brand. They tested different discounts on upcoming orders or offering an add-on product at different prices that are kind of slashed from the web-based price onto the add-on order. They actually ran a test with that sort of same feature, the experience engine, where they offered a discounted product with an upcoming order between orders 2 and 3. And they saw an 85% higher take rate in offering a discounted product versus something else that they offered in the other version. So folks they're actually spending more money and not canceling in running that sort of test. And that was just like a huge win for them. So there are a variety of different things you can do. It doesn't always have to be discounts. It doesn't always have to be free gifting. We see a lot of brands that use our churn reporting that then send segmented and targeted email sequences to offer additional product education. Allow people to modify their subscriptions, remind them that they don't have to be on a set recurring monthly cadence. One of the biggest things we found even for churn reduction is that particularly with a lot of consumable products and skincare products, folks think that they're going to want them every month, but then they don't. And so kind of nudging them and reminding them that, hey, you can set your subscription to be every 3 months because you didn't eat all the chips. Or, you can get it every 2 weeks if you eat a lot of it and you really want to up your subscription, those sorts of things. Giving customers the flexibility to change their cadences and then get exactly the products they want at the exact times they want is a massive lever for reducing churn. And the last thing comes with the cancellation flow. So that retention engine feature that I mentioned that has the AI-driven cancellation flows, you'd really be amazed at some of the treatments that we see as being like some of the highest, they're not technically win backs because they haven't canceled yet, but near to win backs. Things like including a video from the founder explaining how to use the product better. Product education is huge. Allowing someone to say like, I canceled because I had a bad experience, and then serving them a button to chat with customer service and get a personalized interaction with a real human to talk about alternate options moving forward. And even things like for brands that sell in both D2C and retail, we've seen people mark a cancellation reason as I actually want to buy in retail instead. And so what they'll do is they'll say, hey, if you want to buy in retail this month, we'll give you a printable coupon to go buy, let's say, Olipop at Whole Foods this month. And then we'll help you change your subscription so that it's every 3 months. So you can buy sometimes in person and sometimes online. Things like that are super helpful and just giving customers a flexibility where they don't feel stuck by a subscription, or they don't feel like they're being charged when they don't need to be because they don't need more product. Those are some of the biggest things that really help reduce churn in the long run.
Makes sense. So, in terms of the current product, are you only working with Shopify customers, or because I think lots of folks that are a larger scale kind of just moved on from Shopify to more of a custom solution. So, are you working with those types of clients? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so we do have headless support right now, but for the most, we are Shopify based app. I can't right now. There's so much to do, and the Shopify space is so big that I can't say exact timelines and like when we would move beyond. But I do know that there's so much untapped market in Shopify already that this is kind of where we've decided to be for right now. And we also know the space really well, having worked in e-commerce. Many of us on our team and our founding team are just incredibly familiar with how Shopify payment processing and all these sorts of things work. So it was just, the place to start. And we've been around for like a year and a half so far. So we're still quite early stage, I would say. We just closed a Series A round a couple months ago, which is great. But for now, we're definitely in Shopify land. I hope to expand later as, the market continues to evolve and we continue to grow.
Makes sense. So, in terms of scalability, right? I mean, obviously, there's opportunities in other channels, but how are you doing marketing? How are you reaching people in terms of your platform, in terms of this platform? Like, it's obviously Twitter is a big channel. But what has been your the place where you've been able to find like the most success in terms of reaching new customers?
Yeah. So I will always say for those that are listening, like just because it's working for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. At the end of the day, your marketing needs to be completely centered around your ICP or the user of your product. And so I came from Triple Whale a few months ago where Twitter was like our golden child. We could post on Twitter organic and it would drive thousands of leads for us, and that was magical. Or the person who's purchasing a subscription of retention product tends to be a different role than the marketer that I was working with at Triple Whale, who worked very heavily in like advertising and growth marketing. They lived on Twitter. My users now live in different places, a lot of which are LinkedIn. A lot of them heavily read newsletters and listen to podcasts. And so for me, it's more so about becoming a student of your customer, your ICP, the decision maker on who's going to purchase your product and then who's going to use your product every day, and then showing up in those channels. And so for us, we've spun up a subscription and retention newsletter that we send every Thursday. That's literally just like best tips, tricks, pro tips, all that kinds of stuff with a CTA to book a demo at the bottom. That's been great for us. We started running LinkedIn advertising, which I had never done before because LinkedIn was just not like where my people lived in the past. And in 2 weeks, it's already been massive for us. So I'm playing around with LinkedIn and Google. And then we do a lot of content marketing as well. So for years, the subscription retention space, a lot of the content has been saturated by a few of the legacy players. And I say this with all of my heart, but particularly marketers and folks who work in e-com, we can snip out the difference between SEO optimized content and like really valuable thought leadership and quality, like I can take this in action on this content. And there's just been a lot of that SEO optimized content in the subscription and retention world because it's how people found their legacy providers. And it was also, if you think about it, it kind of tracks. Like they've been around for longer. SEO was kind of new and hot and sexy, 6-8 years ago where people were really investing in it. So kind of makes sense on the timeline. So for us, it's been a lot of generating content that actually puts like innovation and new ideas in the space and provides like very timely and relevant suggestions and ideas on how to optimize everything from, your customer experience for subscription programs to how to send better subscription notification emails, and how to kind of like optimize those for more clicks and opens and things like that. So content has been a huge lever for us as well.
So in terms of your newsletter, can you just talk more about that? Like, how did you get people to sign up, and how have you been able to grow this newsletter list?
Yeah, so we run ads for our newsletter list, which is just like part of the game when you're starting something that new. We also built into our website like a email capture box to get people to sign up. And then our team ourselves have been just kind of posting about it on things like Twitter and LinkedIn and all that kinds of good stuff. Um, and it's been great so far. And then we also enabled our prospects, customers, like people in our CRM to opt in to the newsletter. So that they could be notified that it existed, and they could kind of learn more about us and our product and the brains behind the operations. So those are tactics to get started. And honestly, it's been super successful. I've done a lot of email marketing in the past. And in my brain, I have like benchmarks for what good open and click-through rates and things like that are for, selling products in emails, like on the e-com merchant side. And then I have, from working at Triple I have like a pretty decent understanding of what looks good metrics wise on customer and prospect emails. And I've just been super pleased with, we're probably about 2 months into running this newsletter, and we just have consistently really, really, really high performance rates for our newsletter. So I think it really speaks to the fact that folks in the industry are looking for like fresh voices, fresh content, that kind of thing.
What kind of metrics are you looking for currently in terms of the newsletter?
So, I mean, we right now we're still using HubSpot marketing, and so I do a billion different things. I have a teeny tiny team, and so for me, I'm looking at like my high hitter standard metrics, which is like number of sends versus number that opted out, unsubscribed, undeliverables, bounce rate, all that kinds of stuff. I'm looking at our click-through rates and how people are actually engaging with the emails. HubSpot is lovely if you don't use it yet, because it gives you essentially like a heat map of where people are clicking and how they're engaging on the email. And then they also give you what they call their like read, skimmed, glance analysis, which is essentially like how long somebody has been hanging out on the email, how much time they spend actually reading it and engaging with it. And so like in the hierarchy, it's, red is somebody was really reading it. They spent, I think, like, I don't know, 20 or more seconds reading it. Skimmed is like somewhere in the 8 to 10 range, and then glance is like 6 seconds or less. They literally just like opened it, closed it. And consistently, like out of all of our sends, we're seeing like 60 to 70% of people are really actually reading them, which is great. And we're benchmarking really in the high, like 30 and 40% for open rates, which I'm super pleased with for a SaaS newsletter, which is great. And I always go, I do my reporting on a weekly cadence. So I do Monday through Sunday, and then the following Monday, I'll check last week's metrics. We send our newsletters on Thursdays. And sometimes I end up going back and doubling back because folks ended up opening their email like later over the weekend when I hadn't accounted for it, and the metrics have changed. And so it's always fun to kind of go back and see like, oh, even more people read it or opened it or clicked on it than I thought they did. So for sure, attribution, having come from an attribution tech company before coming to Stay, I am very mindful of the hairy world that is attribution. Particularly for B2B SaaS, it is very hard to kind of track like web behavior to actual book demo, because sometimes people come and go, and they have a billion different touch points before they actually convert or book a demo. So it's definitely interesting trying to kind of track like performance of things in this new role, but I've been super pleasantly surprised with how new launches have gone for us so far, and I'm super thankful that the space has been really receptive to the fresh takes that we're bringing to all things content and email and all kinds of good stuff.
Awesome. So somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you. Do you mind sharing the best way to get in contact with you? Company website, email, Twitter, whatever, it's the best way for somebody watching this to get in contact with you.
Yeah, totally. I'm on Twitter at Alexa Kilroy, Alexa Kilroy. And our company website is stay, like stay, don't go, .ai.
Awesome. Well, Alexa, thank you so much for your time. It was great chatting, and we're rooting
Of
for
course.
you and Stay. And
Thank
hopefully, you
you.
guys are going to grow in the next, Q4 and next year, even more so.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Alexa. All right, bye.